Well, good morning. It's another day here in the Twisted Knot Woodshop, and today is October 7th, Sunday, and this is part 2 of Cabinet Drawers 101. In the previous video I showed where the first set of drawer runners were installed, and I mentioned where the drawers were in the finish room drying, and today I was going to show you how to get to this stage. And before I go much further, it's imperative for me to explain the importance of these drawer slides here on how to install them. First off, the screws, to insert them properly and to keep them from moving up and down after you put a screw in, is to use what is referred to as a self-centering bit, often called a VIX bit. And this conical shape up front here nestles inside the hole drilled into the drawer runner and allows you to drill a perfectly straight hole in the center. And if you can stand here and tell me that you can do it without this and just eyeball it, well, bullshit. It ain't gonna happen. You might do one or two, but the rest of them will be a little bit off, especially since you're, in this case, hardwood. A pre-drilled hole, a clearance hole of the shank diameter makes it easier for the screw to go in, and there's no way that the screw is going to deflect and send, or even break the screw off, and which would be a bad thing. So the VIX bit, self-centering bit, whichever way you want to call it, is an important thing to have in your tool arsenal. If you go to do these, it's important to keep the leading edge of this slide about a 32nd of an inch past the face of the frame. The reason for that is you don't want it sticking out proud of it, because when you put your drawer front on, the drawer front is what's going to be touching the face frame. Even if you use rubber bumpers, the rubber bumper will take up for that for sure, but you'll still feel it, and that's not a good thing. It'll make your job and the project look like some moron did it. So always keep it back, and it's not critical because there's a lot of play between the in and out, where the rear of the drawer is not going to make a difference if one side's a 64th and the other side's a 32nd or 16th. So, but just eyeball it, and as far as the depth is concerned, but definitely use the VIX bits. Alright, well, now we got the drawer in, and you can see how nice and easily it slides in there, and it closes by itself. And also the drawer is perfectly flush with the face frame. How do you do that? Well, the issue comes down to making the box just exactly right. The fronts and the rear, and then the sides. The front has to be perfectly flush with the member that's in between. I use 1/4 inch crown staples. You can do screws, or you could glue it with clamps. That takes longer. Screws is a little bit of an issue. You have to clamp it and make sure you drill it exactly right, and then screw it, and then it just takes time. So if you want to do it that way, go right ahead, but you definitely want to use glue between the fronts and the sides. I also use 3/4 on the front and rear. The sides are 1/2 inch. What's the reason for that? Well, but with weight of whatever's in the drawer as it goes in and out on the slides, it has a tendency, with the drawer front, say, being right here, it hits the drawer front, and then everything in there is gravity, and it's going to want to tear apart this front, because the front is fastened, the drawer front is fastened to this member here. So that means the drawer front is hitting the face frame out here, and then that would have the tendency to rip this apart right here. So that's the reason for the extra thickness and the glue. That'll prevent that bit of business from going on. And you won't have to turn around and build a new drawer down, a week from now. So now we have the drawer box. With these particular slides, you have 1 inch eaten up by the slides themselves. And here in this cabinet I have 13 inches. Minus an inch for the slides makes the drawer 12 inches. So from here to here it's 12 inches. That means the piece in here is 11 inches. I'm using particle board. You could use melamine. Melamine is a very accurate measurement as far as thicknesses are concerned. It's not like plywood where it's a silly little factor off of 3/4. It's a 30-second less, and that makes it a problem. Melamine and particle board makes it a whole lot easier. The reason I'm doing particle board and not melamine, which is what I really typically do, the fellow wants it cheap, so I'm doing it with particle board. It's fine. It's the same stuff. So we don't have to worry about any weird measurements. You get your box, staple it, it's glued, staple it together, and then I pre-finish these panels in the finish room. You turn it upside down. It's only a 1/4 inch, which is plenty fine for this width of a drawer. If it was any wider, I'd be doing something different. And again, you could glue it down. I don't. I just staple them really well with 1/4 inch crown staples, and in this case 1 inch long. Then you put your drawer runners on, and same thing, you want to hold the leading edge of the runner. The bearing is on the back end, so if I put this other one on there, you can get an idea of what the drawer. And it's always nice to have the drawer longer than a runner. The reason for that is because as you open the drawer, there's a little area back there that is still visible, but the bulk of the drawer is not, being weighed out near the front, and so some of it is still sticking back there. Again, use the Vicks bits. There's a series of holes. You can pick them. I generally go with the smallest ones because of the screws that I have, but all of these are the same diameter, and they'll all work. All it takes is 3. Don't bother about going through the sides. It's worthless. Although the holes are there, it's not necessary. So now you got your drawers made. The runners are on. The slides are in. And what you want to do is take every drawer, put it in its spot, and stand back and look at the presentation of them, and especially take a straight edge and go across the front, so that you ensure, with the drawer being closed, that it's not sticking proud of the face frame. It could be something silly. The alignment of the drawer slide, for instance, or the drawer runner here, could be wrong. It could be a number of things. Generally it'll jump out at you. But you put all your drawers in there, and you go with the next step of putting the drawer fronts on, and that'll be in part 3. So I don't know of anything else to show you other than wait for part 3. Talk to you later.